Hello and welcome along to the next instalment of my YouTube camper conversion channel. Now this video I'm going to be attacking some rust that's started to form on the roof of this little Ford Transit Connect that I'm turning into a little camper van. There's one or two areas that have actually broken through, like there, and that's almost gone through as well. I don't know whether that's going to be salvageable or not. Other parts, it's just surface rust. I've already just started treating just that little bit there. That's been sanded back and it's got some rust remover, currently doing its stuff on there. I'm going to do further repairs on it, so I'm going to show exactly what I'm going to be doing. Now thankfully, because I'm going to be putting a skylight in this roof, I'll cover the skylight in a different video, but I'm going to use that to actually cover where the worst affected rust is. So I'm going to actually cut all this out, and that's going to be where the skylight's going. Because in the van I'm going to be putting a little kitchen pod down the left hand side with the bed down the right hand side. So with the skylight above it, that just means if you're going to be cooking, you can open the skylight and any fumes from cooking can just go straight out. But as you can see there, there's clear daylight coming through on that particular hole, so that would have needed to have been ground all the way back and either fiberglass filled or preferably new metal welded in. But as I say, instead on that particular area I'm just going to put a skylight there and cut it all out. So that just leaves the surfaced rust scabs to do. I've checked all the way along the inside of the roof line and there's nowhere else where you can see any sort of bubbling like that. As I say, that is the worst affected area, so that's going to be cut out. Everything else is just surface rust, surface scabs, so now is the time to be actually taking care of them before they do eat the way through, just like that one has. So in this video I'm going to be sanding back any affected area. I might even block sand the entire roof, because I might just change the colour of the roof, because there's going to be that many daft little rust scabs to take care of. It's going to need some sort of paint just to neaten it up afterwards anyway. Now whether I do it white again or change it of colour, I'm thinking I might even paint it red, something like that, just something different to break the colour of the van up. But that's for a different day. As I say, today it's just going to be a case of sanding back all these rust marks, treating them with all the rust treatments that I've got. I've got some Rustins rust remover, and I've also got some Hammerite Rust. So I'll be applying the Rustins first, and that should remove any surface rust that I haven't been able to actually sand away. And then by the time that's finished, if there's any remaining pitting or anything like that, hopefully the Hammerite Rust should then convert it into a more solid metal and stop any further rusting occurring. So I'm just going to get my mask out, plenty of sandpaper, and start cracking on. Alright, so I've just gave the roof a really good scrubbing. I don't know when the last time it was given a really good clean was, but it took a hell of a lot of effort just to get all the channels clean. But at least now I can see every single rust spot that it has on the roof. So I've just started sanding back some. As I say, that one's already treated. I've just started sanding back that, and as you can see there's plenty more to go. None of them have broken through apart from that, and as I say, that's going to get cut out for the skylight anyway, so I'll crack on and start getting the rest of all these little rust patches sanded back and then start getting the rust treatment on the go. Right, so there we go, there's all of the surface rust blisters all ground back. Some of them with sandpaper, some of them with the grinder, just because they were a little bit too substantial to take off with sandpaper. I would have been there for ages, and I still probably wouldn't have been able to get rid of as much of it as you can with the grinder. Obviously if you're going over anywhere with the grinder, you still need to then smooth over it with some filler, then sand it back, prime then filler, and then it should be ready for paint. Otherwise you'll just be able to see all of the grind marks underneath any fresh paint that goes down. Now the only areas that I haven't done yet are, as I say, that final corner, and that's because that entire corner is going to be cut out for a skylight. So everywhere where I've ground back now, I'm just going to go out and get some Rustins, get some rust remover applied. Once that's dried up, I'll then apply some Hammerite, and as I say, it'll be ready to prime. Right, so that's the roof all treated now. That's all treated with the Rustin's rust remover. So any rust, surface rust that I didn't actually be able to grind back, that should now eat away and it should just leave nice, relatively hard metal. I'm still going to double treat it anyway with some hammerite rust as well, just to be doubly sure that anywhere where I've ground back should be as treated as it can be, and then it's going to get some primer and some filler over the areas as well. But there's stage 1 of grinding it all back done, stage 2 of Rustin's remover done. Now I just need to leave this dry up, cure up for a bit, and then I get on to stage 3 with the hammerite rust. Right, so on to stage 3, I've just wiped off all of the residue from the Rustin's and it's brought the vast majority of it up quite nicely. Everywhere I've ground back it's brought up quite shiny. Anywhere where it couldn't remove all of the actual pitting, it's sort of turned it to black. That's sort of what I would expect the crust to do as well, but as I say, I'm just going to be trying to be doubly sure that anywhere where it's been treated once, it's going to be treated twice, just to try and make sure there's no rust that's going to be encroaching back through the paintwork. So, as with the Rustin's, the crust, you just need to ideally pour this into another little tub. You don't want to be using the brush that's touched rust going back into the tub, otherwise it will contaminate the tub and make that useless. So pour some of that into there, again just lay it on quite liberally again same like with the Rustin's again as well. Now this stuff, it does say on the back you're supposed to leave it for round about up to 3 hours before you can then paint over it. That's fine, I'm going to do it now, then I'll have my tea and put some primer over it after then. The Rustin's doesn't say how long it's supposed to be left on, but as I say, that's had at least 20 minutes and it's brought it up quite nicely. And with it going to have the crust, and that's going to be left for hours. So as I say, it should be nicely and protected. So I'll get cracked on and get this applied. Right, so there we go, that is the entire roof now covered in rust after being already treated with the Rustin's as well. So I'm now just going to leave this to cure up for the next couple of hours, as it says on the back. Then it'll be ready to prime over. So I'll pick it back up when this has had a good couple of hours to cure up, react with any sort of residual rust that might be within some of the pitting of the areas. The vast majority of it's all gone, but this is just to be sure. So as I say, I'll pick it back up when it's ready for primer. Right, so it's been a couple of hours now, so I'm just going to give all of the exposed areas just a little coat over just with some primer. That's just to protect all of the bare metal. And then tomorrow I'll give everywhere that's been treated a little skim over just with some filler as well, just to make sure it's all as treated and protected as it can be. So I'll get a little mask on and get all these areas sprayed up. Right, so I've been over all of the areas now with primer. I've done 2 coats over it all. So now I'm just going to leave this to dry up now. That's everywhere treated with being ground back with flap disc on the grinder. And it's all being treated with Rustin's rust remover, then hammerite rust. Now full primer, 2 coats of that. And tomorrow I'm going to pick it back up again. It's going to be filler time. Right, so it's a fresh day. I've left all of the rust treatment to cure up overnight. It's had primer applied overnight as well. It had 2 layers of primer. So now it's just a case of getting some nice smooth filler, just applying just a really light layer over anywhere that's been sanded back. That's just to try and get any sanded areas smoothed back in with the original level of the paintwork. So I'm just going to get some of this mixed up, start applying it. As it's going to be going on in really light layers. I'm not going to be smothering it on or anything like that. It's just going to be a case of trying to smooth it over, so then when it's flatted back and then when you rub your fingers across it, you can't feel anywhere where it's been sanded back, or that's the plan anyway. So get some filler mixed up, get some applied, and we'll have a look and see what it looks like when it's all on. Right, so I didn't really film any of the filler work, but it's all done now. If you need to learn how to do any filler work, I do recommend checking out somebody else's work. Mine isn't particularly the neatest, but it does the job. Everywhere where it was sanded back is now covered with filler, especially around the front window, all of the channels. So everywhere is covered. It's now just going to be a case of the ball breaking effort of sanding it all back and getting it all nice and smooth. But it's getting there. That's another step down. Now it's just a case of, as I say, either a block sander or a dual action sort of sander. I don't have a dual action sander, so I'm going to have to block sand this. And then, as I say, after that's all done, it's just going to need a primer on top of that, and then that'll be the roof ready for final paint. So we're getting there, we're getting there. As I say, just plenty of sanding now to do. Alright, so I've just spent about a good hour block sanding, and I'm still only halfway through, so just to sand off all of the filler work to get it back so it's nice and level. It's going to take probably 2, maybe 3 hours total. But there is a hell of a lot of areas that need attention on it. I say none of these is actually broken through, but this is more future-proof in the van. Otherwise, as I say, anywhere that was just left to rust and rot, that would end up like that area over there that's broken through, and then it's going to make the full conversion pointless. So I am slowly coming to the realisation that I do actually hate bodywork. Hats off and thumbs up to anybody who actually does this for a living. There's no way I could do this 9 to 5, 5 days a week or more. So if you actually do this for a living, good on you. I can't do this, but I'm still going to crack on. As I say, there's still a good hour, if not more, and that's a case of flattening back the passenger side now, getting it all smooth, filled in. Then once it's all nice and smooth, then I'm going to have to go out and buy some more primer, because I used pretty much the full can I bought yesterday for the first coat. But once it's all flat and smooth, it'll be primed and then it'll be ready for actual paint. So we're getting there slowly and surely. A lot of hard work. Hopefully it'll be worth it in the end. Alright, so another hour later, and I've now finished block sanding all of the fillered areas in. Now it's just a case of letting the roof dry. I've had to give it a wash down just because of the amount of dust that was on it, and there's no way you can spray when it's full of dust. So once it's all dried up, it's going to then be getting another couple of coats with just primer. Then the entire roof itself is going to just be getting flatted back, and then that's going to be getting a full possible colour change. I might change it, might paint it red I'm thinking, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But if I do, that'll be a job for a different day in a different video. I mean, this roof now, it's not 100%. The actual objective never was to get it 100%, it was just to get rid of the rust. That was the main issue, because there were a few areas like that were starting, if they weren't treated now, they would have broke through probably within the next year, maybe less. So as I said, that's the main issue, that was the main priority for this job, and hopefully I should have pretty much got rid of everything, and I say that's all getting cut out anyway, so there's no issues with that. So it's just a case of now letting the roof dry up, apply a few more coats of primer, and I'll show you what it's like when it's all finished up. Right, so I've finished all the roof repairs now. I didn't actually take a little video just showing what it was like before the van went in for paint, but I pretty much knocked every single bit of rust back, pretty much as you saw throughout the video. It was all treated, it was all sanded back, blocked, primed, this, that, the other. I've just got the van back from the paint shop, and as you can see, although it's a bit wet on the top because I've just gave it a bit of a wash down, it's looking a hell of a lot better than what it was when I first bought the van. You can't see any sort of rust bubbles, no breaking through, no cracking, no nothing. You can't even see anywhere that I've actually done any of the repairs, which is really good as well. As I say, the roof itself isn't back to factory standard. You could have spent a week or two and thousands of pounds in the body shop trying to get it 100% back to as it would have been when it left the factory. But compared to what it was like when I first bought it, I'm more than over the moon with how this has turned out. And the actual paint itself, it's been painted with like a silver, metallic silver, but it's almost like a flip paint, because the further you walk away from it, the more purple it sort of looks in the colour. So it's a very strange one, but you might be able to tell it's also had metal flake put into it as well. You might be able to see some of it just sparkling in the sun. It's just not a very sunny day today. But there we go, that is how I have fully repaired the entire roof line of this Ford Connect that I've been converting from a basic van into a camper van. It's made it a hell of a lot better than what it was when I first bought it. It should have protected the roof line for many more years to come, if not longer. I see even all the repairs around there, around the front area, they've all been blended in lovely and it's just come out really nice. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, do give the video a good old thumbs up. If you haven't already, check my channel. There's loads of videos. I've documented the entire conversion of this van, my T4 out there. I'm about to start a second hijack and there's already one fully documented on there as well. So there's loads of content on my channel. Do have a look if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.